Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to a new tradEasy video. In this video, we want to bring you an improvement that we're really excited about because many of you have been asking us about the compatibility that we have in tradEasy with Metatrader robots. Okay, as you know, tradEasy robots are compatible with Metatrader 4, and some of you who use Metatrader 5 or who also want to have that option, well, unfortunately, we've always told you that this solution isn't possible, right? Since the programming code for the robots is different. However, we have a very interesting alternative that we want to share with all of you. So allow me to show you the diagram so you can understand how it works. Here we have the tradEasy tool, as you can see. These robots, as you know, with tradEasy, we can create robots without programming easily and quickly. We can run simulations. We also have access to a library of more than 500 robots. And in addition, tradEasy has a connector that allows us to link our account directly with the broker. Alternatively to this connection, what we can do is download the robots, whether they are our own or from the community, and we can download them to install them on a Metatrader 4 platform, which is what we have always done using this option. However, downloading robots for Metatrader 5 is something we have always said is not possible since there is a lack of compatibility because the programming language is different. What is the solution? What is the alternative that we offer? Through this software that we are going to present to you called FXBLUE, because we can do what is known as mirror trading. That is, we can replicate all the functionality that happens in a Metatrader 4 to a Metatrader 5 in a very easy, very simple way, and also for free, okay? And this is what we are going to see in this video, okay? Just to let you know, in the end, the robots will work in this terminal in Metatrader 4, just like always. And the transfer of orders from Metatrader 4 to Metatrader 5 will be done through this software called FXBLUE, okay? We are going to achieve this through 4 very simple steps. The first step would basically be to register and download the FXBLUE software. Okay? Just so you know, there are several options, but the one we're going to use is called Personal Copy Trader, and it's free. So by clicking on this link, okay? In the video, down in the description, you'll find the link. You'll be taken to the FXBLUE page where you can find the different options. With this link, you'll be able to directly download the copier for both Metatrader 4 and Metatrader 5. Just like I mentioned to you, okay? When you click download, it will ask you for a username and password. And if you haven't done it yet, if it's your first time, you'll need to register, all right? The registration process is very simple. It doesn't cost anything. And once you're registered, you can enter your email, the one you used to register, and your password. And with that, you'll be able to log in and download, okay? And here, it will directly download a file for you where you'll be able to use the installer, all right? We do this for both Metatrader 4 and Metatrader 5, okay? We need both platforms in order to be able to do the copying, all right? That would be the initial step. The moment where we'll already have these folders here where we can download these tools. Okay? What else do we have? We have step number 2, which would be well, but once I download these files to use FXBLUE, what I'm going to do now is install it on both Metatrader 4 and Metatrader 5, all right? An important point. Before doing the installation, we need to already have the Metatraders installed, okay? If not, we won't be able to do the installation since Metatrader 4 and 5 must already be installed on the computer beforehand, all right? It's important that they are installed, but at the moment of installation, they should not be running. In other words, we need to close the windows and make sure that Metatrader 4 and 5 are installed, but not running at that time, because otherwise it won't allow us to proceed with the installation, okay? The installation is very simple, okay? When you go to the installer section, you will have the 2 files, okay? Here you will have one labeled FXBLUE Personal Trader Copier for Metatrader 4, and the other will say for Metatrader 5. For example, we would select the one for Metatrader 4, okay? And the installer downloader will appear, and then you will have to choose order in which Metatrader 4, if you have more than one where you want to install it, okay? You can select all of them, or you can select just one, okay? Whichever you prefer. you select it and then click install, okay? Once you click install, the installation will proceed. And with MetaTrader 5, it's the same. We double click it and the installer download screen will appear again. And once it's done, it will ask us in which MetaTrader 5 installed on our system we want to install the personal copy trader. Okay, we would click install and this will complete the installation for us. Okay, and with that we would finish step number 2. The next step would be to open MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, okay, where we install the copy trader and here is where we would basically start up the copier, okay? You'll see it here because we have it. We already have it open, okay? Here we have one and here we have the other, okay? This, what you see on the left is MetaTrader 4 and what you see on the right is MetaTrader 5, okay? I already have them running, but just so you know, once you install them, you will have these two files, okay? One is called FXBLUE Trade Copy Receiver, which is the receiver, and the other is called Trade Copy Sender, which is the sender, the one that sends, okay? If we want to transfer from MetaTrader 4 to MetaTrader 5, the file, the robot, the program that we are going to use in MetaTrader 4 will be the sender. It will be the one that sends the information that happens in MetaTrader 4. And in MetaTrader 5, which will be the one receiving the orders, no? We will install the trade copy receiver, which is the receiver, okay? So the process is simply to select any chart. It doesn't matter the name or the asset. It's just about choosing whichever chart we want. The chart doesn't matter. Then select the sender in MetaTrader 4 and drag it onto the chart, okay? There are 2 important points to keep in mind, okay? Point number 1 is that we must have DLLs enabled. And point number 2 is that we need to have auto trading enabled. Actually, in the sender for copying, it's not really necessary, but since that's where we'll have the robots, we need to have auto trading enabled, okay? Also, if you want DLLs to always be enabled, you can go to Tools, Options, Art, Expert Advisors, and here you check Allow DLL Imports, okay? If you set this, then the programs will automatically have the DLL option enabled here. If not, you'll have to do it manually, okay? In the Common tab, when you go to set up the program, you check Allow DLL Imports and also enable auto trading, okay? Once you click Accept, the window will appear just as you see here, okay? We have to do the same thing on the receiver, okay? Tools, options, okay? If you want the DLLs to always be enabled, you just check allow, okay? And then you just take the file, attach it to a chart, and do the same. Make sure we have the DLLs enabled here. In MetaTrader 4, it's here. In MetaTrader 5, it's here. And then for trading, algorithmic trading, we have it here, okay? Let's go over the parameters, okay? Very quickly, okay? There are a lot of parameters. Just to let you know, if you don't change anything by default, you'll already have a configuration that allows the copying to work, okay? Here we have both of them. Notice that there's a parameter called channel, okay? And this has to be named the same on both the sender and the receiver. That's how they communicate, okay? So with this name, which by the way is set to trade copy by default, it would already work just as it is, okay? You have several different options available where you can, for example, very easily change then the multiplication factor, and you can also adjust a wide variety of other different configuration settings as needed if you want to, okay? I wanted to share one with you that what I have considered relevant here in what is the copier? Well, there would actually be 2. There was one related to the volume. There are countless configurations. Okay, it would be this one, so that it always rounds the volume down, okay? By default, it comes set to false. I think it's interesting to set it to true, okay? So that it always does the rounding down. Okay, and the other point, which we'll discuss in in recommendations, but I'll mention it to you now, is the custom symbol mapping. All right, this is useful for when you work with different brokers, one MetaTrader 4 broker and another MetaTrader 5 broker. It's possible that the symbols are different. So here you need to create a sort of translator, right? For example, here, the IBEX is called ES. Let's see, now I don't know where I am. Here. Okay, here. If we look for the IBEX, it's called ESP 35, right? And on the other hand here, the IBEX is called Spain 35. So the software doesn't know how to translate that asset in the other one. And that's why you have this field, okay? In this field, by entering the original name equals the final name, it will know how to translate it. And if you want to enter several, you separate them with commas. In this example, you can see that SP35 equals Spain 35 XX. So it already knows that this asset in this broker is called that. Then a comma, as you can see, and we can do the same, for example, with the NASDAQ. The original NAS 100 is equal to the US 100 XX, which is the destination, okay? And in this way, for those assets that are called differently in different brokers, you can use this software to copy them correctly, okay? In any case, on the FXBLUE website, you will find a lot of information where they explain all the configurations for the different parameters, okay? And there you will have plenty of information, okay? Once we have it installed and running on 2 charts and we have auto trading enabled, the last step would be, well, to enjoy, right? Or to take advantage of this copier so you can work with the robots. In this case, just to do it quickly, we're going to do it directly with manual orders so you can see how the copying works, okay? Here we have the copier, okay? The sender, and here we have the receiver. You can see it says receiver here and sender here. So this is what the system will do. We can take any asset and open an order. And for example, we can open a 0.05 on USD CHF, okay? I'm on MetaTrader 4. This could be an automatic order from a tradEasy robot. And when I click buy, notice that it automatically opens in MetaTrader 5 as well. So it's doing exactly the same thing in MetaTrader 4 as in MetaTrader 5. Of course, the robots will have to work in MetaTrader 4. And thanks to the copier, those orders will be replicated exactly the same way in MetaTrader 5. Another important point to keep in mind is that, notice, the source account has $19,978 and the destination account has $49,977. It's not necessary for you to create a demo account with exactly the same balance as your real MetaTrader 5 account. Why? Because the copier will already replicate proportionally to the account balance. Notice, Mike, that this account with 49,977 is almost 3 times, or in this case, it would be less. And that's why it's a 0.05. Also notice that this is in EUR and this is in USD, okay? If it were USD, it would be much closer to 60,000 than to 50,000, okay? So that calculation is done both in terms of the difference in balances and even taking the currency exchange into account. So the ratio of 0.05 in a $19,000 account would be 0.14 in a 50,000 euro account, okay? Which would be about $60,000, which is practically 3 times larger. That's why the volume is 3 times greater. This is something that is done automatically, and you can also configure it through the parameters if you want to make it twice as much, or if you want the factor to be higher, okay? By default, it will be an equitable proportion, okay? The volume will be balanced according to the account balance, okay? And with this part, we would finish what are the steps, okay? In this simple way, we could already work with tradEasy robots in MetaTrader 5. As recommendations, as always, test everything on demo accounts before doing mirror trading or copy trading. That is, if I want to go from MetaTrader 4 to MetaTrader 5, and MetaTrader 5 will be on a live account, I will test that real account afterwards. First, I test it with a demo account and make sure everything works correctly. The second recommendation is that, if possible, we use both MetaTrader 4 and 5 from the same broker. This will help us avoid what I mentioned earlier, which is having differences in the names of the symbols. If it's not possible and we're working with a different broker, keep in mind what we discussed about custom symbol mapping, that is translating the source symbol to the destination symbol, like the example we saw with the IBEX 35 and the NASDAQ, okay? The next recommendation, this doesn't apply only to copy trading, but to automated trading in general, is that it's always recommended to work with a VPS, okay? We can do it on our own computer, but as you know, well, if we do it on our computer, we'll have to keep it always on, always connected to the internet, and any issue that happens on our local device would affect our operations. So it's much less risky, right? It's highly recommended that what we've done here should be done on a VPS so that connectivity is much more secure, right? And finally, as always, if you have any questions, don't take any risks and ask us. We'll be happy to help you. Here you have our email, info@tradEasy.tech. And that's it. We're done. I hope you like this new feature, this alternative path for those of you who want to work with Metatrader 5. Okay. Here we're leaving you all the links to join our Telegram group, our email, the WhatsApp channel, in case you want to talk to us, our YouTube link, and our Instagram. If you liked the video, I hope you'll give us a like, and for anything else, we'll be reading your comments. All the best. See you later.